Hey there, knowledge seeker. You ready to dive into today's EQAI Morning Briefing with me?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, so we're navigating a market full of uncertainty today. We've got everything from beer to AI. Should be interesting.
What I find fascinating is how these stories, even though they seem so different, they're all connected. Like, they give us this peek into what's shaping the world, from Wall Street to Main Street, you know?
Totally. And a perfect example of that is Constellation Brands. They're the company behind Corona beer, right? You think, oh, everyone's buying beer, they must be doing great, but their stock is down.
Yeah. Yeah, their wine and spirits division kind of took a hit.
See, this is what I mean. It shows how a company's image, like all those Corona ads you see, doesn't always match up with what's really going on in their financials.
Makes you stop and think, huh, like what else are we missing? Exactly. It reminds us to dig deeper, look past the headlines, really get into those financial statements.
A good lesson for any investor out there.
Yeah.
But on a more, well, kind of critical note, remember that whole Eli Lilly medication shortage? A lot of people were really worried about that.
Oh, yeah, that was a big deal. Really shows how vulnerable we are when these supply chains get disrupted, even if it's temporary. A shortage of essential medications can have huge consequences for patients.
Absolutely. And on that note, there is some good news. They've ramped up production, got the FDA's okay, and those diabetes and weight loss drugs are available again.
That's a relief. Really shows Eli Lilly stepping up and addressing the situation head on.
Right. Okay, so switching gears completely, let's jump over to the tech world. It seems Salesforce is back in Wall Street's good graces
And how did they pull that off?
by focusing on what matters, their products.
It's a classic comeback story. By making real improvements and addressing investor concerns head on, Salesforce has managed to change the narrative.
Proof that sometimes the best strategy is just delivering a fantastic product.
Yeah.
Okay, now for something that affects, well, pretty much everyone. Jobs. Jobless claims are up slightly, but we're still looking at historically low numbers overall. What do you make of that?
I think it's definitely something the Federal Reserve is watching closely. Not necessarily panic-inducing on its own, but this uptick plays into their interest rate decisions. And as we know, those decisions can ripple through the entire economy.
The Fed, always walking that tightrope. Speaking of unknowns, what about OpenAI?
Oh, man.
They're leading the charge in the AI world right now. But with so much competition popping up left and right, can they really maintain that dominance?
That's the million-dollar question in tech right now. OpenAI's early lead, you can't deny it, but this is an incredibly fast-moving space. I mean, what's their next move?
Yeah. Will they focus on, like, snatching up the best talent, partnering with bigger industries?
Or will they just pull something totally unexpected out of their hat?
It's like waiting for the next tech earthquake. You know it's coming, but where?
And how big?
Exactly.
Okay.
But while we're trying to figure that out, let's move to something a bit less abstract, shall we? How about ships?
Okay, I'll bite. What about ships?
Well, specifically, Global Ship Lease Inc. Seems they're actually benefiting from that ongoing strike at the East Coast and Gulf ports. Talk about being in the right place at the right time, even if it's, well, kind of a messy situation.
It goes to show how interconnected global trade really is. Disruptions like this strike, they have this ripple effect. They create challenges, but also opportunities. Global Ship Lease's position, I think, just shows how complex those dynamics can be.
You said it. It really makes you rethink that whole phrase, smooth sailing.
I know, right?
On a more serious note, did you see that report on the Latino wage gap?
Yeah, I saw that.
Still 58 cents on the dollar compared to white, non-Hispanic men. It's 2024. You'd think we'd be further along by now.
It's a huge problem, and that statistic really drives home the systemic issues that are still preventing true economic equality.
We have to do better. Okay, so switching gears again, let's look at global affairs. We're seeing oil prices climb as the world waits to see how Israel responds to that missile attack from Iran.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a tense situation. Geopolitics and oil, right? Like, they're always tangled up together. And this whole situation, it just shows how quickly things can change, how that uncertainty can send those energy markets into a tailspin.
Yeah, and suddenly those gas station groans hit a little different, don't they?
Tell me about it.
Speaking of shaky situations, how about that British pound taking a tumble? The Bank of England hinting at possible rate cuts? That's got to have some people nervous.
Central banks, man, always walking that tightrope. They're trying to keep inflation in check, but also trying not to accidentally launch a recession. It's a tough balancing act.
Definitely a high-stakes game they're playing. All right, let's jump over to something a little more, well, tangible.
Oh.
How about 3D printing? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, 3D printing. What's up with that these days?
Well, nanodimension and desktop metal, they're merging. Big changes afoot in the 3D printing world.
Interesting. I wonder if this means the market is maturing. Like it's moving beyond that initial hype phase.
Could be. And now they've got all these combined resources, right?
Yeah, their combined expertise. Who knows what kind of innovation that could spark? Or maybe it'll shift the whole playing field.
Right. Who knows what the future holds? But speaking of the future, and maybe this is a weird segue, but have you seen what Costco is doing?
What's Costco up to now?
They're selling platinum bars.
Platinum bars. Like the precious metal.
The one and only.
Huh. Well, some experts, they're still pretty bullish on gold being the safe haven asset, So it's interesting that Costco is jumping into the platinum game.
Maybe they know something we don't. Or maybe they just figure, hey, everyone loves a good deal at Costco. Why not platinum bars?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right. Find it right there between the giant tub of pretzels and the discount TVs. But, okay, we've covered a lot of serious stuff today. You ready for something a little lighter?
Always.
Hit me with it. All right, so Jim Carrey is trying to sell his Los Angeles mansion. Again.
No way! He's trying to unload that place again.
Fourth time's the charm, right?
You would think.
This time he's asking a cool $19.75 million.
$19 million. You know what? More power to him. That's celebrity real estate for you. It's like a whole other world.
Maybe this time he'll throw in a signed Ace Ventura script as a bonus, Sweeten the deal a little.
Now that's a deal I could get behind.
I guess even those multi-million-dollar mansions aren't immune to the ups and downs of, well, everything, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
But, hey, that's the world we're living in these days, isn't it? Volatile markets, global tensions, AI changing everything we thought we knew. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
And that's exactly why we do this deep dive, right? To try to help make sense of it all.
Exactly.
Today's EQAI Morning Briefing, I mean, it's a perfect example of how connected everything is, Like, we started with beer and ended up talking about platinum bars and Jim Carrey.
It's all connected, man.
It really is.
But, hey, we covered a lot of ground today. Hopefully you're walking away feeling a little more informed, right?
Absolutely.
Like you've got a better handle on what's going on in the world and what it all means.
And maybe even some ideas on how to navigate it all.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, after all, right? Especially these days.
Couldn't agree more.
But hey, we don't have all the answers. So we want to hear from you, especially about that OpenAI situation.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Can they really stay ahead in this AI race that's just getting more and more competitive? What do you think their next move should be?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Head over to social media, join the conversation, let us know what you think. And until next time, stay curious out there.